the Alviso crit. Look at this, man. Field's getting bigger each week. It was like 65 degrees today in January. California is awesome. Thanks for coming out and make this one fast, guys. So, in case you're wondering how to start a breakaway, let's let Brian demonstrate. So, don't attack from the front, first of all. Everyone's just going to follow you, and you're going to end up towing the whole field. You wait for a slowdown, you wind it up from maybe 10 wheels back or so. You carry your speed past the front riders, and you have that element of surprise. You'll get a gap, I guarantee it. Couple minutes later here, I'm on the front chasing, and this is like the whole point of the attack, is forces competition to chase. Right? It's like chase or lose. Those are your options. And if you're Brian's teammate right now, you are on my wheel, you are up towards the front, and you're prepared to counterattack in case Brian gets caught. And also, you're just trying to mess up the chase in general to keep Brian off the front for as long as possible. So Brian's caught, and the next one just goes immediately, because that's the nature of amateur bike racing, guys. Attack, counterattack. Even if you're a pure field sprinter, you can't just sit in the pack, in the middle of the peloton, sheltered the whole race, and hope things go your way, because trust me, they won't. I tried that plan for years, and it never works out for you. You have to stay proactive. You have to be at the front. You have to be prepared to go with attacks, and you have to have an engine. You can't just be a one-trick pony with a huge sprint. At the highest level of the sport, the pros, you have, race staff, you have director sportif, coaches, race radios, that sort of thing, and the racing's a lot more predictable. Formation of the breakaway, concerted chase effort by the GC or sprinter's team, and that's not the way it goes out here. This is chaos. See, look, here, I'm caught. Here goes the next one. Boom. Just like that. And you can't respond to every single attack that goes, so knowing when to follow and when to let it go is an important skill. It's an often overlooked skill in bike racing. So let's look at this attack by Ben. Ben's strong, but he didn't draw anybody else out. He's by himself. And with over 18K, it's just too much for one person, especially with all the strong guys still behind. On top of that, I just got reeled back in, so I'm in no position to bridge across and spend the energy on this breakaway that probably 9 times out of 10 is going to get brought back eventually. And once it is brought back, I just go again because the field is all single file, and this is the tailwind section, and I just want to keep it fast through here. Best case, I start a breakaway or split the field. Worst case, I just make everyone hurt a little bit, soften them up for the sprint in the end. A little bit later, Brian just finished taking a pull. Things are still pretty fast. It's been a really hard 20 minutes, and I just decided to go again. It was more just like a preemptive move, because there's a little lull in the speed, and I just had a feeling somebody was going to go in that moment. I'd rather it be me, and then I can kind of control the pace and have it be on my terms, whereas if somebody else attacked, then I would kind of be forced to chase or, roll the dice and let them get a gap. And this was just kind of like a bet, strongest defense is a good offense thing. I know I sound like a broken record, you guys. And I was kind of hoping after 20 minutes of hard racing that they would force Brian to chase me back. That was kind of the other plan of this attack. But actually it's Larry instead, and it was cool that Larry came out. Larry, he mentored me back in the early bird days, and if you guys are new to racing, go out and do the early bird series. I think there's only one more weekend now, but it's a January race series for new racers, and Larry puts that on, and he has this unbelievable list of national and world championship titles to his name. He's just a badass. So here we are, a couple laps to go, and little payback for earlier. Brian goes again, waits for me at the front, and this is a threatening one because we're so close to the finish, and I have no choice. I have to chase this one. 3 strong guys off the front, and I know Brian's gonna put his head down and go super fast, so I gotta nip this one in the bud. Alright, so the catch is made, and I'm tired, but you know what? So is everyone else. I look over my shoulder, I see that there are some gaps opening up in the group behind, and, as they say, the elastic is about to snap, so I go again, and I'm hoping that, again, I can draw out maybe a breakaway group, maybe split the field, and... Oh, actually, you know... Oh, I just saw my shadow. You know what? Actually, I remember now. I'm trying to wave Brian through. Maybe... I see Brian was pretty snappy. He still responded pretty quick to that attack, so I'm thinking, oh, maybe we can get away together, and with less than 5Ks to go, this could be pretty good. But it doesn't work out. We're still together, a fairly large group, and Brian's not satisfied, so he goes again. And I was really looking forward to resting in that spot. My legs are just thrashed at this point. I'm so exhausted. Each one of these attacks that Brian puts in, I'm just getting closer and closer to emptying my tank. So these hurt, and these hurt real bad. I'm starting to think about the sprint now too. I want to rest as much as possible. I got my head down. I cannot let Brian get away. He has won the Alviso crit from this distance a number of times before, so I'm going to do everything I can. I'll drop myself in this position to make sure that Brian doesn't get away, because we have an awesome back and forth like that. And as I come up to his wheel, I am... this is an awesome position to counter. Like, this is the position to counter. Like I said before, the elastic is about to snap, and if you don't like your chances in a field sprint, this is the moment you got to roll the dice right here. I think I audibly said oh thank God the counterattack didn't go, and you see Brian's checking over his shoulder too. So finally a moment to rest for a second, and it stayed that way until we're coming into the last lap here. This is 1 to go, and really my main goal for this last lap is to expend the least amount of energy to make sure it stays together for a field sprint. So small moves like this, small gaps like this rather, I am closing down, even though it's not really ideal to be closing gaps on the last lap. It's just something that I have to do to make sure it stays together for a field sprint. And it starts to slow up right through here, and it's actually kind of counterintuitive. You would think, if you're waiting for a field sprint, you want it to be really slow, but every time it's really slow, attacks go. So in an ideal situation, you'll have a lead out or a teammate setting tempo on the front to discourage attacks, to keep the pace high, because even though it hurts a little bit when the pace is high, it hurts a little bit for everybody. Everyone's on an equal footing. And when this attack goes, so this is nice. I'm happy about this. I can just sit on his wheel. He went right in front of me. I got kind of lucky. Jumped on his wheel. Everyone's on high alert on the last lap too, so don't expect this one's gonna get away. I'm not gonna pull through and do a big turn at this point either. I'm just trying to save my legs for the sprint, like I said before. Make sure it stays together by using the least amount of energy as possible. Now, unfortunately, I'm stuck on the front and I'm not going fast. There's a lull in speed. There's an attack coming. Fortunately, I look over my shoulder, I see it coming, so I can wind it up, carry some speed through this corner, jump on his wheel. Not too bad. It didn't catch me by surprise because I was kind of expecting it as the speed decreased. And this kind of strange thing happens, and we open this gap. Most people don't let this happen on the last lap. I think kind of everybody's looking at each other. Everyone turns into a sprinter in the last lap of a crit. It's a funny thing. Do a little lens wipe here for my fans. Lens wipe on the last lap. Subscribe and like for the last lap lens wipe. Oh, it's late and I'm tired. Okay, so we have this gap. It's starting to slow down a bit though. I look over my shoulder, I see there's a gap, and I just go again. Not really thinking that it's going to go the distance, but as long as we have a gap, I'm going to make people chase me. I wouldn't do this if people were in my draft. And as an added bonus, I get to take this corner exactly how I want, and then I get to slide all the way over to the right here because it's a pretty strong left to right wind. So I get to be on the downwind side and just kind of wait. You can see my shadow. I'm checking over my shoulder. I'm just seeing where people are. And this is an uncomfortable position because now I'm just stuck at the front. Nobody wants to come around and pull on the last lap. Cameron comes through like a champ and sets a pretty fast pace. I jump on Jason's wheel, so I'm in third position. It's too far up in most cases, but today has a particularly strong tailwind on the finishing straight, so this might be all right actually. And we only have 650 meters to go. So check it out. As Cameron finishes his pole, Jason starts to wind it up, and Brian's on my wheel. Brian goes for a really early one, catches me by surprise. Actually, probably catches Jason by surprise a lot too. They make a little contact, but you know what? They're skilled bike racers, so no big deal. And this is a long one, guys. In fact, I sat down in the middle of it to switch to my 11 tooth, stand back up, and just pass Brian at the line for the win. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and see you at the next one.